Good morning, side friends. It's me, the man, coming back at you from Walker's Music with yet another word for the day. We give God all the praise and honor and glory for life, health, and strength. And we thank Him for as well as it is. It could have been the other way. We just wanted to say here, people, been a while since I tried to just sit down and just do a straight out talk about certain things about how life happens. In other words, life happens, and I was sitting here and all morning long. I've been really for the last ever since about 8 o'clock this morning. I was trying to get this here video done, and I'm just now being able to do it, which is about 12:30. Not because I just have to do a video. It's not. That's not the point. That's not the case. But to do something that is an on time and on point. I did a video about the the nature of our nation and the severity of how everything is going in our country right about now. With the police force and everything, versus the civilians and everything. And I think a lot of people may have gotten the wrong, they got the wrong point of view about that, the video, and they didn't really understand exactly where I was coming from. What I was saying was not to condone any wrongdoing on either side, but just to say that what I was saying was that we all need to come together, because we got to have a police force, and you got to trust them. They are to protect and to serve. And if we don't have any confidence in our police force, then we are in a bad situation. But at any rate, people, I'm going to say some things, and really and truly, I always try to keep whatever I say biblical. I try to the best of my ability, and I try not to say anything outside of the Bible. And when Jesus was teaching, a lot of people didn't understand. Jesus was teaching on a higher plane, in another level. Whereas, in other words, he said, where the prudent, in other words, the people that thought they knew, the religious leaders and scholars and whatnot, he said it was hidden from them, but it was going to be given to the simple and to babes. In other words, the knowledge of the kingdom. And when Jesus was preaching and teaching, and he was preaching about, on one occasion, he was saying about he was the bread of life, and that if you eat of his flesh and then drink of his blood, you will have no life in you. Well, a lot of them, if you read John 6:6, John 6 chapter 6 verse, tell you that a lot of them left and they did never follow Jesus anymore. In other words, when the teaching got hard, when they did not understand, a lot of them left and they never followed Jesus anymore. But if you remember, if you look at the scripture, you never read anywhere where Jesus went behind them asking them anything. Why did they leave? And why did y'all did not follow me anymore? And Jesus never went behind asking no questions at all. He put the dinner on the table, but he let you eat it. So that's exactly what Mitty Man is saying. A lot of people, we judge folk. We judge people by what other people say about them. What other people say. One of my favorite ministers, he's dead and gone. He's gone on home, I reckon. And the Reverend E.L. McKinney. I can remember him saying that, talking about what I heard and what they said. And he said a lot of people is in the graveyard today listening to what I heard and what they said. He even spoke about how many people have severed friendly relations, have severed a long time friendly relationship because of the fact they were listening at what I heard and what they said. In other words, he said, you're going to find yourself in a whole lot of trouble. You just keep fooling with what I heard and what they said. In other words, people hate you today and don't hardly know your name, but they listening at what other people have said about you. In other words, we need to get the facts from the horse's mouth, as they always said. In other words, if you want to know anything about Mitty Man, ask Mitty Man. I tell you, don't listen at what other people say about Mitty Man, because they may give you some wrong information. In other words, come to Mitty Man, and I'll tell you exactly what you want to know. Because see, number one, you don't have a heaven or a hell to put me in. I don't have any reason to try to hide or hinder or keep anything away from you, or neither do is it any of your business. In other words, what a person does in their own private life is their business. It's none of your business. It's between them and God. Because if you look at it, everybody, I don't care who you are, there's some good in the worst of us. And there's some bad in the best of us. So you need not go around and think that you got it all figured out, because you don't have it figured out. But if it wasn't for the name and the person of Jesus Christ, we would all be in a mess. Point blank. We would all be in a mess. So you get people, like I said, sometimes, and a good example of this here, you can take a child. A child can be real close to you. And children can be all up under you at one time, and they just love it on you. They just hugging you on your legs and whatnot. One day or 1 week, and then all of a sudden they come back around you, and you try to, that child stand off from you looking at you like this here. When they do that, that means somebody done had their mouth on you. That's it, because a child is just like that. Number one, we need to be very careful. We are not responsible for how people treat us, but we are responsible for how we treat them. So in other words, you cannot worry yourself wondering. I know I've been in this here on many occasions. I was sitting in one, I said, I wonder why such and so acting that way. Because you be trying to figure out, what did I do? You be trying to figure out, did I say anything? Did I do anything? Well, you know what? I found out that a lot of times, like I just said, it's not what you've done. It's what people just got their mind made up. And I heard somebody say, I wish I knew the person that said this, I would give them credit. They said, regardless of what you do, about 80 to 90% of the people you meet not going to like you. You're going to have that 20%. Everybody's not going to like you. Point blank. You haven't done anything. They don't hardly know you. Like I said, people listening to what other people say. Well, you know what, people? I hope that in 2015, I told you, I don't make resolutions. I call them resolutions, because I cannot do anything. The only thing I know to do is just to continue to follow Christ. And whatever little work that I do, it'll be him that does it through me. There's no good in middleman. Not one thing. And I don't have to worry about it, because Jesus is the one that got on the cross. And he paid the debt. I have peace with God because of the fact that I know now it is not my performance that's going to get me anywhere with God, but it's what Jesus did. So whatever you think, whatever you feel that you got to say, whatever you got to do, you do that. That's your prerogative. But one thing about it, middleman don't have to let it affect him. And I'm going to tell y'all the same thing. You don't have to let it affect you. Whatever people want to think about you, they're going to think that anyhow. If people want to think you somebody, then you somebody. But if they want to think you're nothing, it don't make no difference whether you went to Colgate University or Harvard. You're going to still be nothing in their sight. You cannot try to people please. Because let me tell you something, you're never going to be able to do it 100%. So only somebody that you got to make certain that you follow is Christ. Point blank. And let him do the work. He has completed, and the job is done. Remember, he said it is finished. So in other words, we better stop listening to what I heard and what they said. You're going to find yourself in a whole lot of trouble. Keep fooling with that, what I heard and what they said. This is middleman saying whatever you get into. If God's not in it, best you come out of it, because it's going to come to nothing. Peace. Goodbye.